You're lying to yourself, not about the big things. You're too smart for that. You're lying about the small ones, the ones that don't feel like lies because they sound so reasonable. I'm just not ready yet. I need to learn more first. Now it's not the right time. I said every single one of those word for word. I graduated as a mechanical engineer. I moved to another country and spent 6 years scanning groceries and stacking shelves. Not because I had to forever, because every time I got close to doing something about it, something in me found a reason not to. I left that job and gave myself a month to build a startup. No idea, just the fire. I learned everything, reached out to businesses, and then nothing dramatic, no big failure. I just stopped showing up for myself. Again, then I wrote a book. Not because I had something to say, because I need proof I was still trying. And the whole time I called it figuring things out. It wasn't that, it was fear. Dressed up in productivity, disguised as patience, hiding behind preparation, and the specific fear, the one nobody in this space has the guts to actually name, wasn't the fear of failing. It was the fear of succeeding, of actually becoming the person I had been performing my whole life. Because that would mean no more excuses, no more one day, no more comfortable distance between who I was and who I claimed I wanted to be. That cap was protecting me, and I didn't even know it. Let me show you what this pattern looks like. Not in theory, in real life, in your life. You have a goal, something you have wanted for a while, and you genuinely believed in it. This isn't delusion. This isn't fantasy. You know you are capable. So you do what feels like progress. You research, you make a plan, you consume content about people who have done it. You get really good at talking about what you're going to do. And somewhere in there, without a single moment you can point to, preparing becomes the destination. Think about the last time you had the real momentum. Something was actually working. You could feel it. And then what happened? Maybe you got busy. Maybe something came up. Maybe you just quietly stopped showing up. No dramatic failure, no crisis. You just drifted back to who you were before you started. And then you told yourself the most dangerous lie a person can tell themselves. I will come back to it when the time is right. That time was right. You just couldn't afford what starting again would cost you. And I don't mean money. I mean identity. Here's what the research actually confirms. Up to 90% of people engage in self-sabotaging behavior. Not because they are weak, not because they are lazy, but because the brain is doing exactly what it was built to do. Protect you. From what? From the discomfort of becoming someone unfamiliar. Because the person you are right now, the one with the excuses, the almost starts, the comfortable distance between intention and action. That person has an identity, a story, relationship built around who you currently are, and becoming the person you claim you want to be doesn't just mean building new habits. It means killing off the old version of you entirely. And nobody tells you that transformation isn't just exciting, it's a form of grief. The startup I abandoned after a month, I didn't quit because it was hard. I quit because it was starting to work. And working meant I had no excuses left. It meant the only thing that's standing between me and the person I claimed to want to be was me. That's not a comfortable place to stand, so I moved back to familiar ground, back to safe. The last time you stopped, was it really bad timing? Or was it because things were starting to actually work? I want you to take back to something, not a dramatic moment, no single conversation where someone sat you down and told you who to be. It was quieter than that. Growing up, nobody told me I couldn't want more. Nobody said, stay small, don't reach. It was never that obvious. It was the grades I studied for, not because I loved the subject, but because I could not stand the thought of my parents feeling embarrassed in front of someone because of me. The neighbors, the teachers, the report card that wasn't really about learning. It was about what it said about my family when somebody else saw it. And the worst part, I was good at it. Because when you spend that long performing for an audience, you stop being able to tell the difference between what you actually want and what you have been conditioned to want. You think you are making choices. You're not. You are executing expectations so deeply embedded, they feel like instincts. I came to Australia in 2019. Fresh start, right? Except you don't get a fresh start by just changing the geography. The same pattern followed me in different audience, same performance. And underneath all of it, the engineering degree I never used. The 6 years in retail I told myself were temporary. The startups I abandoned, the book I wrote just to feel like I was still moving. Underneath all of it was one belief I had never once examined, that who I currently am is who I am supposed to be. Psychologist G. Hendricks spent 45 years studying exactly this. He called it the upper limit problem. His finding was simple and devastating. Every single one of us has an internal thermostat, an unconscious ceiling on how much success, how much becoming we allow ourselves before something in us finds a way to pull back down to what's familiar. It's not weakness, it's not laziness, it's a thermostat doing exactly what it was programmed to do. The question is, who programmed it? And did you ever get a say? I didn't. For 30 years, my thermostat was set by grades, by expectations, by the quiet crushing weight of never wanting to be the reason someone felt embarrassed. And then I realized something I could not unfeel once I felt it. I had never once, not once, made a decision about my life based purely on what I wanted. How many of the decisions that built your current life were actually yours? Let me tell you what nobody in this space is honest enough to say. Staying where you are is not safe. I know it feels safe. The routine feels safe. The familiar version of yourself feels safe. But safety has a price, and most people are paying it every single day without ever seeing the invoice. I paid it for 6 years, every morning in that retail job, not in crisis, not in agony, just with this low, persistent feeling that I was hemorrhaging something I could never get back. Not money, not time, potential. The specific daily cost of knowing, not believing, knowing that you are capable of more and doing it anyway, year after year, until the regret becomes background noise, until the dream starts to feel like naivety, until one day you're not talking about what you want anymore, you're talking about what you have and calling it enough. Here's what staying actually cost you. And I need you to hear this clearly. It cost you the compounding. Every year, the gap between who you are and who you could be doesn't stay the same size, it grows. The person you could have become gets further away. The skills stay underdeveloped. The confidence stays unearned. You're not standing still, you're moving backwards, quietly in a direction you choose by not choosing. When I started this channel, putting my face, my voice, my actual beliefs on camera for the first time, the thing that terrified me most wasn't failure. It was what the people who knew me would think. The engineer who never became an engineer. The guy from retail who thinks he has something to say. That fear kept me quiet for longer than I want to admit. And I have seen it keep others quiet too. People across every age group, old, middle aged, young. The pattern is identical. They know they are not moving, living the life they want, and they are not doing anything about it. Not because they can't, because they believe the cost of changing is higher than the cost of staying. That's the trap, and it's a lie. Because the real cost isn't the dream you didn't chase, it is the person you didn't become. What has another year of waiting already cost the person you keep promising yourself you will become? Let me show you exactly how the sabotage works. After I left my job, I did what most people do when they decide to change their life. I went looking for the answers on the internet, and the internet had one: AI automation. Financial independence, 6 figures in 90 days. It was everywhere. It was loud. And I gave it a month, learned everything, reached out to businesses. Some of them, it was even start to work. And then I stopped. For a long time, I told myself it wasn't working. That was a lie. The truth was simpler and harder. I never wanted it. Not in the way that sustains you when it gets hard. I wanted what it promised: the freedom, the proof that living was worth it. But the work itself, not a single day of it felt like mine. And here's the mechanism nobody is honest enough to name. You cannot sustain movement toward a destination you never actually choose. Most people aren't failing because they lack discipline. They are failing because they are being disciplined every single day in the wrong direction, towards someone else's definition of success, toward a goal that will make them feel like enough to their parents, their colleagues, the people watching from the outside, and the subconscious knows the difference every time without fail. This is why you can hit a goal and feel nothing. This is why the most common experience of people who finally get what they thought they wanted isn't fulfillment. It's a quite devastating. Is this it? I have been doing this channel for 6 weeks, 14 videos, daily rejection, view counts that would make most people quit. And not one single day has felt wrong. Not because it's easy, because it's mine. That's the difference. And deep down, you already know which category your own goals fall into. The thing you are working towards right now, did you choose it? Or did you just stop resisting it? I'm going to ask you some questions. Don't answer them to me, answer them to yourself. How many years have you been waiting for the right time to start living the life you actually want? Not planning it, not thinking about it at 2 a.m., actually moving toward it. And in those years, did the satisfaction ever come? Did following the path your family wanted, your colleagues respected, your friends understood, did any of it ever give you the feeling you keep waiting for? Or did you just get better at pretending it did? Here's what 6 years in the wrong life taught me. That feeling you are waiting for, the inner satisfaction, the spark, the sense that you are finally where you are supposed to be, it does not come from the script other people handed you. Not from your family, not from your colleagues, not even from the people who genuinely love you and want the best for you. It only ever comes from what is actually yours. And you know what that thing is? You have always known. The dangerous lie isn't that you don't know what you want. The dangerous lie is that there is still time to figure it out later. That future version of you, more ready, more stable, more certain, is going to wake up one day and finally make the move. I waited 6 years for that version of me to show up. He didn't come because he was never coming. He was waiting for me to stop waiting for him. And here's the thing about time that nobody says plainly enough. Every year you wait, the harder it becomes. Not because opportunity disappears, because your brain does what brains do. It calculates the cost of change against the comfort of familiarity. And every year the comfort wins, the gap widens, and the reprogramming gets harder. The regret doesn't arrive all at once, it accumulates quietly, daily, until one day you're not carrying a dream anymore. You're carrying the weight of everything you didn't do. I've seen what that looks like at the end of life. It is the most expensive thing a human being can carry. So I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to ask you one thing. If the satisfaction hasn't come yet, what exactly are you still waiting for? I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy. I'm not going to tell you that once you make that decision, everything clicks into place and the fear disappears and you wake up every morning on fire. That's not what happened to me. When I finally made that decision, really made it, not the thinking about it, not the planning, it felt daunting. There were days in the beginning where I genuinely considered going back. Back to the job, back to the familiar, back to the version of me that knew exactly what tomorrow looked like. The doubt didn't disappear, it doesn't disappear. But here's what I found on the other side of that decision that I never had before. Something to come back to. On the days the view count discourages me, I come back to why I started. On the days the rejection pile up, and they do every single day, I come back to why I started. On the days the inner critic gets loud and tells me I'm not enough, not ready, not the kind of a person who gets to do this, I come back to why I started. And it picks me up every time without fail. Not because I have it figured out, because for the first time in my life, I'm moving in a direction I actually chose. That's what the script they handed you can never give you. Not the script your family wrote, not the one your colleagues validated, not the one society decided was the responsible, sensible, safe path forward. None of these scripts, no matter how perfectly you follow them, will ever pick you up on the hard days because they never yours. And something that was never yours cannot sustain you when everything gets difficult. Only the thing you generally choose can do that. So here's where I leave you. Not with a plan, not with a 5 step framework, not with a motivational quote you will forget by tomorrow, with a choice. The same one I had to make. You can keep waiting, keep preparing, keep living at a careful, comfortable distance from the person you actually want to be. Nobody will judge you. Most people will even respect you for it. Or You can decide that the gap between who you are and who you know you could be is no longer something you are willing to carry. Not because it's easy, not because you're ready, not because the timing is right, because another year of waiting cost you more than you can afford. I'm Jatinder. I left the script I was handed. This channel exists because I made that choice in public, so that you know it's possible to make it too. Whatever you decide, decide it consciously.